What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode. Today, I thought we'd talk a little bit about what's going on in here. You know, I talked about last time how I wanted to do a lot more mindset-focused type content and really dive into some of the mental aspects of weight loss and what goes on in my head being, over 400 pounds and getting ready for my very first bodybuilding show, because there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of mental challenges that I've faced so far, and we're not even in prep yet. I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of discuss some of the things that I deal with on the day-to-day mentally, and some of the challenges that I face and some of the battles that I'm currently fighting, and just kind of walk through that and maybe even talk about some of the things that I do to deal with those things. So grab your popcorn, we're diving deep today. We're going in hard. Oh, and it's leg day, so this should be fun. Let's get it. Leg day is one of those days where no matter how you draw it up, it's gonna suck. Coming from a place of over 400 pounds, getting ready to start prep for my very first bodybuilding show, it's a mind fuck. I'm not gonna lie. There's just so many things that I deal with every day. I think one of the big things is just not letting my coach down. A lot of this is my own doing, because when I signed up with Alex, our first conversation, he told me, I've never had a overall winner in a transformation division, and I was just like, bet, let's go. And that's kind of been my driving force ever since. I feel like if I hadn't taken that mindset of let's go get the overall, then I'd be okay with just doing the show. And I know that in my head, if I don't set out to be the absolute best, I'm not going to give my best effort. That's just not good enough for me, That's a lot of pressure I probably don't need, but it also keeps me focused. I'll say another thing that wears me down every day is I'm just tired, This shit is not easy. It's mentally frustrating having to fight these demons every day, having to battle with my mind every day. And it's physically tiring, We work every single day. And even on rest days, we're doing cardio, we're taking walks. There's not a day off. And I'm not complaining, but it's a grind. It is a grind. And you really have to be ready for that, because it'll wear on you. It'll wear on you. You just want to take a break. You just want to be like, I can take a day off. I can take a week off. I can deload this week. But this goes back to that first thing, I'm in this to win. And all I think about is those guys that aren't taking a break, those guys that aren't taking a day off, those guys that get mentally tough and fight through it. And at no point does it get easier. That's one thing I'll tell anybody that's thinking about doing this. Get ready to work. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting some weight. It's humbling and inspiring all at the same time, just to have people that you look up to come up to you and say that they're inspired by you. Like that's just a crazy feeling. And I honestly don't think I could get that anywhere but here. And to have random people walk up to you and tell you that you inspired them to start their weight loss journeys, which is all I've ever wanted in life. I just want to help people be better. I want to take my experiences and use them to inspire people to have their own experiences, And it's such an amazing experience. It's something that I'm really thankful for, but at the same time, it's stressful. I don't want to be a bad example. I don't want to show people that it's okay to quit, so I feel like I can't. And honestly, I don't want to. I'm too good for that. I'm better than that. We don't get to quit. Mediocre's not good enough for me. Something else that I wasn't quite prepared for was, this is a lonely road. Sure, there's people at the gym, and I have family and a handful of friends, but it's important you build some sort of support system, because you just cannot do this shit on your own. I'm really fortunate to have an awesome community of people here at Alphaland, and my team is invaluable, and God only knows what I would do without Alex. Like that's the one thing I think I know I did right was I found a good coach. And Alex is a great coach, and I wouldn't change that, but he's not the only one. There's plenty of them out there, and I'm glad I took my time to find the right one for me, because he has been absolutely invaluable. And my team, man, being able to fall back on their knowledge and experience when I go through these problems is something else. But it's a challenge, man. Being single, having basically cut everybody out of my life, after my wife passed away and I was going through all that bullshit, and then jumping right into this. There's a very, very small group of people that actually get it. And, even then, you can't expect them to completely be in line with your vision, right? It's just something you have to be prepared for, Like, I was fortunate enough to have already been in that situation where I cut everybody out of my life, and it was just another day for me. But definitely have to get comfortable being alone. And that's not to say every moment is lonely or you never have any help or support, because I got a ton of it, and I'm thankful for all of it. But it's one of those things where you got to anything. It's one of those things where you just have to be good not having any support. You have to be comfortable being by yourself. And then when you do have that support, use that as that extra motivation, because there are definitely some times on this path where you are quite literally all by yourself. And this is probably one of those things that I put on myself, but I'm not normally an anxious person. Like, anxiety doesn't get to me. Those situations I usually do pretty well in. But man, not knowing when I'm competing, the anxiety of wanting to know how it's going to turn out. I put a lot into this. It's hard to talking to this at the same time. Oh, man, I literally give everything that I am to this. And I want to see the results. I want to see the outcome. I want it now. When's going to be my time, Lord? You know what I mean? It's definitely something that I battle with every single day when I look in the mirror. Not to mention that whole imposter syndrome when I walk around this place and I see all these immaculate looking people, and I see all these people busting their asses and how good they look. And, social media is no help, because nobody puts their worst self on social media. So there's some doubt. There's some imposter syndrome. There's some do I really belong here? But we just handle it. I took some notes last night as I was thinking about this, just because I don't want this to be all negative. There are ways to deal with this, right? There are ways to handle these things that go on in my head and go on in my life, and these are the things that keep me moving forward, that keep me executing. And I want to share them with you. I think the first thing is to keep your eye on the prize, right? We set out to do this to achieve a goal. And that's what keeps me moving. That's what keeps me motivated. It's always about the goal and the steps that we take to get to that goal. Focus on the goal, execute on the plan. And that's the foundation, right, for this or anything that you do. Set a goal, figure out how you're going to get there, build a plan, and execute on it every single day. I'm a big fan of Andy Frisella. I'm sure that if you guys follow me in short form, you know this by now, but I take a lot of what I put into practice from Andy. And one of his big tools is a power list. It's a list of tasks that you execute on every single day that drive you towards your goal. And that's the foundation of what I do. Is I have my plan, I have my list for the day, and I check those boxes off every single day. And it doesn't matter what the weather's like, doesn't matter how I'm feeling, doesn't matter what's going on in my life. Those things have to get completed, and it's a non-negotiable, right? But by doing that, I can tune out everything else going on in the world. I can ignore how I'm feeling. I can ignore the outside influence. I can ignore the negativity. I can ignore the pressure. And I can focus on just completing the tasks. And, that's how you build momentum. Those small wins, they add up. And eventually you're moving at a high rate of speed, right? And you're accomplishing great things. But it all starts with those little bitty wins. That's probably the most powerful tool in my toolbox. I'll be honest with you, because it doesn't require anything but action. You know, another thing that I overlooked for the longest time, and I still struggle with it today, but sleep and downtime. You know, there is a huge difference that I've experienced between getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night and getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. There's a difference mentally, there's a difference physically. You know, I move better, I operate better, I think clearer, I feel better, and life is just easier when I get that needed sleep and downtime. You know, I'm not one of these people, at least not yet, that's out here, you know, trying to build a business. You know, I have an 8 to 5 job. I'm not trying to acquire clients. I'm not trying to do anything other than write my story right now. And it can get overwhelming. You know, I spend a lot of time studying, watching videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, working. God damn it. I'm definitely tired. Working on the mental, working on the physical, finding new ways to improve my form and technique, finding new ways to change my mindset and improve the way that I do things. Even when I'm not working on, you know, the nutrition and the workouts and all that stuff, there's always room for improvement, and I'm always trying to find what that thing is. And sometimes you just have to unplug because that can get overwhelming. And I'm not saying take a day off, take a week off, but maybe take an hour off, you know, maybe take a couple hours off. Maybe one night, instead of, you know, spending 3 hours watching Renaissance periodization on YouTube, maybe I'll play a video game just to detach my brain from this world of fitness that I've literally engulfed myself in. And I find that just helps me remember that I'm human, you know? And you know, that kind of leads me into the next point that I have down here is remembering that I'm human. And you're gonna make mistakes, right? You know, I had a day the other day, I failed to execute. I set a goal this week to do 4 days of posing in the gym. And I came in here to do my posing, and I let self-confidence get to me, you know? It was a disaster. I spent like 60 seconds posing, and I just packed it up and went home, and I felt like shit. I had to apologize to my team and my coach and the people around me because I feel like I let them down. And then I had a friend tell me, you know, maybe you feel like you did, and in your head you may have, but you're human, and they expect you to be human because they're human. And that was a big lesson for me is that I am human and I'm gonna make mistakes. And while it's okay for me to be hard on myself, I don't have to expect that the people around me are just gonna bail, right? Because I made a mistake. We all make mistakes. We have to give ourselves grace because God knows everybody else does. That kind of leads me into the next point. You know, there is a lot to this. You know, the physical, the mental, the nutrition, the people around you, the weather, the competition. And this kind of dives into that whole imposter syndrome is you know, there are days where we get up and we do the best that we can do and it's not enough. And it's not that we didn't do the best that we can do, it's just it wasn't enough that day. I want so bad to walk off that stage with that trophy in my hand. I want it more than life itself. But at the end of the day, all I can control is the package that I bring to the stage. I can't control the judges. I can't control the competition. I can't control the lighting. I can't control any of that shit. All I can control is what I put in my mouth, the effort that I put in at this gym. I can control what my posing looks like. I can control what my physique looks like to a certain extent, but I can't control anything else. And if I focus on the things that I can control, if I focus on the variables that I can control, the water I drink, the food I eat, the exercise that I do, then I've done everything that I can. And there's literally nothing else that I can do. It's a tough pill to swallow to know that you can go out and give everything that you have and still not be enough. But you know what? I would much rather lose because somebody else was just better that day than lose because I didn't do everything that I could. I can handle losing to a better competitor. I couldn't handle losing because I didn't do enough. Focus on what you can control and fuck everything else. There's a concept that I'm going to mention him again because, like I said, he's one of my biggest inspirations in the personal development space, called aggressive patience, that I learned from Andy Frisella. He says aggressive patience is doing everything that you can, attacking the things that you have to execute on with everything that you have, like time is of the essence, like there's with the utmost sense of urgency, shooting for those goals with everything that you have, but understanding that it's going to take a long fucking time to get there. That is a tough lesson. I come out here and put everything that I have into my workouts. I go home and I put everything that I have into my nutrition, into my meal prep, into planning. I have a 6-foot calendar on my wall. I have the whole month planned out. And then I break the week down into individual days. All the tracking, all the whiteboarding. I put a lot into this, but I have to remember that it doesn't happen overnight. You know, the last thing, we'll close with this. It's a piece of advice that I actually got twice this week from 2 different competitors, actually. Actually 3 people, because my coaches told me this also. 2 FPV pros. Slow the fuck down and enjoy the process. I give that advice. But I never really stopped and thought until I was making the notes for this video about what does that mean in practice? And then it occurred to me, I was over 400 pounds. And now I'm just a few months away from my very first bodybuilding show. That will never happen in my life again, because the next time that I do this, it won't be my first show. The next time that I do this, the feelings, the emotions, the experiences, the goods and the bads, they're all gonna be different. It's all gonna be about optimization and improvement. And if I don't take the time to just slow down and take it all in, I'm gonna miss out on all the experiences. I'm gonna miss out on the good times. I'm gonna miss out on the tough times, the opportunities to grow. I'm just gonna fly right through them. And I'm gonna miss those chances. I'm gonna miss out on that growth. I'm gonna miss out on that experience. So enjoy the process. Slow down. Take it all in. One day at a time. Man, it's just gonna be epic. We'll catch you next week. Take care, guys.